Good morning, and thank you for this hearing. I'm pleased to be here with this subcommittee meeting today to receive testimony on finding ways to encourage and increase private sector participation in passenger rail service. This hearing is very timely. Just last week, we saw an example of a great passenger rail project with massive private sector participation die in Florida. In fact, private companies from all over the world was interested in Florida's high-speed rail project. Yet, because of our governor put politics before Floridians, we will no longer be the pioneers in high-speed rail in America. But we're not going to let him stop us. We will have high-speed rail for the people of Florida. This is truly a setback. Florida was awarded $2.4 billion in federal funds to develop high-speed rail, including 84 new miles of track and 240 planned miles. The first phase of this project would have connected two major tourist destinations, Orlando and Tampa. Florida plan was going to give the United States high-speed rail that would finally compare with our European and Asian neighbors. Train was going to reach up to 160 miles per hour on new tracks dedicated solely to high-speed rail. Trains will have reduced trip time from Tampa and Orlando from 90 miles by car to less than 1 hour. And I want to extend the remarks because it's not just the time, but it's the number of people that we would have taken out of cars and the pollution and on and on and on. Unfortunately, despite the fact that just last year the Florida legislature and the governor approved appropriation money for this project, Florida new governor, who won by 48% of the vote, rejected the money, claiming that it is a waste of federal taxpayers' dollars, even though it is gasoline tax and not foreign sources. On the contrary, this is an example of Florida taxpayers' money coming home to them. Florida governor is much more interested in politics than in creating jobs or improving the transportation system for Florida residents. This decision will do nothing to help reduce Florida's 12% unemployment rate. The high-speed rail plan for Florida served as a perfect example of a successful public-private partnership that will have created tens of thousands of jobs. By Florida DOT estimate 48,000. The high-speed rail line between Tampa and Orlando was going to produce public-private partnerships, and in fact, we had 55 creditable countries and companies competing for that transportation public-private partnership. Today's hearing will also focus on Section 214 of the Passenger Rail Investment Improvement Act of 2008, which requires the Federal Railroad Administration to develop a program to contract out or privatize two Amtrak routes to freight or commuter railroads that own infrastructure over which Amtrak operate. I did not support this program. I didn't vote for it, but I'm looking forward to the FRA discussing it. However, I want to make it clear that North Carolina, Carolina, and Florida don't have to use Amtrak. They choose to use Amtrak. So I'm interested in the input, and I want to be clear that the freight rail, if they wanted to, could offer passenger rail as we speak. But the reason why they decided not to participate in the program was because why we started Amtrak in the first place, because we do have the #1 freight rail in the world. But passenger rail is something that we have to work to make sure that we have the support of the public, and high-speed rail is where we're headed for. We've got to be able to move people, goods, and services. And so with that, I'm looking forward to the hearing.